All right, in this video we're going to talk about Boolean searching. I'll refer you to the written guide for the order of primacy. That will come into play here, but if I start talking about that, that will take way too long. When it comes to Boolean searching, one of the things you want to do when you're using a database is become familiar with whatever Boolean searching they use, how they present it, and what functions they have. So we have Booleans right here up under searching. You click on that and you can find out all the information that you want to know about Booleans from Go Search. And most databases have something like that, because some databases will say missional and living is the way that you should conduct a Boolean search, by capitalizing everything within it, or they'll say put it in quotation marks. So we're going to do missional and living, and we're going to do a search for that. And so what this command does, what AND does, is it says it must include both terms. This is one of the most misunderstood Boolean searches, because some people use it. Most people, when they don't know about Boolean searches, will come in and just try and use it to find everything that says missional or living, and so give me all those resources. And actually, you're doing the opposite. You're saying these two sources must appear. So let me give you an example of what that is. So what that looks like, or what the database is doing. Here we have the title, and it bolds for us living and missional. So that's the reason that this is in our results list right here. Let's say this was just the living presence of Christ was the title. It still could be brought in if the source was rather than the Journal of European Baptist Studies, we'll say it was the Journal of Missional Studies, if such a journal existed. Then that would also be brought into our results. Or if it was in the subjects, either one of these terms, and in the abstract. And in this case, because we have our expander set in Go Search to search within full text, even if missional appeared here, this item in the PDF full text, then that would appear. So actually in the text of the article, if missional appears there, then that is brought in. So that's why we get 8,525 items here. Now, if I were to, in Go Search, you can do this either, you can conduct Boolean searches either by hitting, what I just did there, typing in all caps, or just using the drop-down menu here for the, to conduct your Boolean search. And you can see missional and living, that's the same exact thing. We have 8,525 items. That's the same exact amount of items that we had before, so it really doesn't matter with Go Search how you do that, or any EBSCO database for that matter. So now, let's get into missional or living, and let's talk about that. So with AND, it must include both terms, or in contrast, can include either term. So let's say, for instance, in this first one, right here, holy living, that's the only thing that's highlighted in the title. There doesn't seem to be anything else that's associated with it that says missional. No subject heading, no nothing. It does not search down to the full text in this particular database of EBO. So why is it pulling it in? Because living appears. All right, there are going to be some that have both living and missional in it. There are going to be some that only have living, and there are going to be some that have only missional within those records. And so those are brought in. And that's why we have 700,588. The other type is the excluding term, not. So when we do a search here, we find, obviously, it's going to drop our number to 6,552. Why? Because it's looking for missional, but when it doesn't occur with living. So that tells you that, that we're telling the database that to exclude that term. So anytime, we shouldn't find the same results that we have with missional and living. We can get more complex, but again, we must always have more search terms, at least one more search term than Boolean operators. So we're going to say missional and living, or theology, because sometimes those are used interchangeably, living or theology. And the reason why I do this is to show you that what it's actually going to do, because of the order of primacy, which again, I refer you to what I've written in the libguide. It's going to go in there and it's going to pull in everything that has missional and living within it. So our 8,000 results are right here. Okay, they're back in here, and only those. And then all the other 2,004,000 come from just this word. So it's going in there and pulling everything out for theology. So every item that has theology in it should appear. In fact, if I take theology off, we'll see what happens. We still have the exact same amount. Why? Because that theology term brings in so many results. All right, but if I wanted to really be able to use Boolean phrases effectively, I could put in missional and parentheses living or theology. So what it's going to do is going to reach in there to the database, do living or theology first rather than and then it's going to apply missional and those results. And there we have far less results. We have 13,679. So you can kind of see the power of using the parentheses to put another search first that you didn't have, that normally wouldn't be done first in the order of primacy. That is a lot of information. You may need to watch this several times, but hey, Boolean searching is a very powerful and effective method for searching databases, especially, let's just go ahead and take this full text off. You can see now we're down to 884 items, both articles and books. So it's a very powerful search engine or search function. All right, see you next time.